I'm here to talk to you about robot vision and the specific application to object detection pose estimation. And a little thing about myself, I finished my PhD in engineering in robotics in 2013, and then I joined the Imperial Computer Vision and Learning Lab in September 2013, and I am a postdoctoral research associate there. Our group belongs to the Department of Electrical and Electronic Engineering, and it is a part of the Intelligent Systems and Networks group. We are a team of 13 members, and our head of group is Dr. Tae-Kyun Kim. We have 11 PhD students that their research interests are, among others, visual learning, recognition and perception, including 3D hand gestural estimation, object recognition, face recognition by image sets and videos, action in human body recognition, object detection, and semantic segmentation. So this is what you should expect to hear this evening. I would like to talk about robot vision, what is robot vision, why it is important, and what are the challenges. And I would like also to draw your attention in how we approach the problem of object recognition, detection, and 3D pose estimation. And finally, I would like to append my personal vision for the future robots. So, what is robot vision? So, robot vision is this particular field of research in robotics that tries to focus on designing and implementing algorithms to interpret the 3D working environment of robots. So, usually we have cameras as robot's eyes, and the vision system of a robot can be either a monocular when we use only one camera, or a stereoscopic when we use two cameras, or if we go and comply with the state of the art, we can use a camera that offers also the depth information like the Xbox from Kinect. So why we should use vision? So it's obvious that it's apparent that the vision is our dominant sense, since it can provide us the ability to coordinate our eyes with our hands, or the ability to relate and associate what is seen and what is heard, or the ability to remember and record information when it's seen, or the ability to know where I am in relation to objects, and so the space around, and what are the relationships between the objects, or the ability to discern form and the object from the background. So, since it is so important, we should wonder why we're so back, so why we're not so advanced in robot vision. Because there are challenges. First of all, can you recognize this image?
Yes.
Yeah, it was captured downstairs. So, and as a human, I can see a lot of chairs, and I can see a lot of newspapers, something like that, in the wall. I can really relate this up floor with the down, so I can probably say that probably I am in the same building, but for a robot and his eyes, for this kind of pixel, we have this kind of information. We have just some raw data saying that at the X and Y pixel, we have these three different numbers for the basic components of red, green, and blue channel. And if we use a Kinect camera, we can also have some depth estimation. So imagine how difficult it is for a robot to actually understand what is going on. In our mind, we use deep neural networks, and we can understand that there are a lot of people here, there are a lot of chairs, but directly to a robot, it's very difficult. For example, I do understand that there's a chair there, but what robot sees is that just pure raw data of numbers, nothing more. So it is obvious that the goal for robot vision is to design sophisticated algorithms to extract meaningful information from raw input data. For example, for this specific chair, how can we describe an object? How can we describe this chair? We can easily take the raw data and say that, okay, I have these RGBD values, and I can train my system, and when I see a chair again, I probably will be able to recognize it. But that's not true, because there's also a chair here. And there's also a chair here, here. So my system, in order to be able to generalize to unknown objects, we have to build some kind of representations that are discriminative. So realistic scenes contain usually clutter and occlusion. And I would like now to draw you your attention how we deal the problem of object recognition. So the classic problem of object recognition is you have a system that is trained with a lot of objects. So supposing that I have this kind of object, I put it during training in front of my camera, and I extract some information, some key points, and then I store these key points, I store this representation that we talked before into my system, and then what I'm having during testing, I try to match what features I'm extracting in real time now with what I have trained my system with. So you can see here our system is capable of providing with high confidence values. Obviously the scale is between 0 and 1. This is the probability of an object being recognized. So as you can see here, the object, this is the object name, and this is the confidence value. So it is obvious that our system should be invariant to rotation, should be invariant to scale, should be invariant to partial occlusions. But how we can do that? How we can make this kind of representation, this kind of description to the objects? This is the goal, this is the task. And it's very difficult, and it's very task specific. We don't try to make the future robots work in totally unsupervised fashion. We try to make a small world that has already some kind of knowledge inside it. So we know what objects we can find. So the problem of object recognition is when we try to identify already trained objects. So it's actually a binary question. Is this object in the scene or not? So one step further is doing object detection. We're trying to localize where the objects are in the form of a bounding box. So this is a car with an automatic vision system. You can see it can detect pedestrians and actually count the distance from the camera. And as you can see, apart from identification, we can also have the localization in a form of a bounding box. So the challenges here are still a lot. There is a lot of clutter. There is a lot of overlapping objects, a lot of overlapping pedestrians. And the thing is that when we want these systems to work in real environments, they have to be quick, they have to be reliable, and they have to be accurate. So this is a very good system that works, and it's a very old work, but it's still very, very good. And so we started with object recognition. We recognize objects. Then we moved to object localization. We localize objects in the form of a 2D. Now the next part is to recognize objects, detect objects in 2D, and estimate their pose, their position and orientation in the 3D environment. So imagine that we would like to teach a robot how to grasp this object. So if I use only recognition, my answer to the system will be yes or no. Yeah, the object exists in the scene. But I cannot actually grasp it because you never taught me how to. If I only use detection, I can say to the object that from your viewpoint, I can say to the robot that from your viewpoint, the object is here, like a bounding box. But I cannot grasp it because I never taught the robot how to do it. What I have to do is I have to say to the robot that the object is there in the 3D space. I have to know the exact X, Y, and Z, and how a robot arm should be rotated and translated to grasp the object. So imagine that I have this object, and I would like to, I am the robot hand, and I'm the robot, and this is my hand, and I want to grasp the object. X, Y, and Z, it's not enough, because this is my hand, and X, Y, Z implies moving my hand like that, but I cannot grasp it. Or in the best case scenario, I can grasp it probably poorly. So what I have to do, I have to add 3 more dimensions to the problem, to the already 3-dimensional problem. So I have 3 more dimensions how my robot, my hand, should be rotated to actually grasp the object. So we are talking about a 6-dimensional degrees of freedom problem. And of course, the importance is paramount for object manipulation, 3D reconstruction from some video surveillance, while detecting objects or abandoned objects. And the challenges are, first of all, the background clutter. Here I'm interested only in this object, a boss driller. So all the other objects are background clutter. Another possible problem might be the foreground occlusion. So I'm interested in this kind of objects, like a Sambu, but there is something, a small box here in front of the Sambu. And we might also have large pose and scale changes. So imagine that I can teach my robot how to recognize this object. I can put several different images in my database. This object rotated like that, or this object rotated like that, or like that, in 3D slant. But the problem is that in real scenarios, there is no limit in scale. So I can have it here, 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 I can have it with different illumination circumstances. So I cannot actually train my system to generalize so easy. I have to make a very good representation. I have to make it some kind of scale invariant representation. So when I see that, when I train with that, I can easily understand what's going on here. So another possible challenge is I have three different instances of the same object here. So I have to train my system that I don't want you to give me just one response. I just want to give me all the visual information available. What you can say about this testing scene. And usually, what we are given in this problem is not 2D images, but rather a 3D mesh. So I have a 3D point cloud. It's like a CAD model of this whole object. And what we are doing is we're creating a virtual camera around the object, and we extract different viewpoints. So then we have a large data set, huge number of data, huge number of images. But still, we have to find this magic moment, this magic criterion that can help us to fully understand what is the most prominent features of this object. What should I extract from this object to make it so discriminative compared to all of the others in my data set? So what are the other guys are doing right now is either template matching or part-based methods. So the first method is I'm having the whole object, and I'm going pixel by pixel or point by point in my 3D point cloud, and I'm trying to extract specific information from that. So what I'm building is a 3D holistic template of this object. And during testing time, I'm just putting this training image into my testing image, and I'm trying to find the similarity. So if the similarity measure is higher than the confidence, so I can say that this object is recognized. On the other hand, the part-based methods, what I'm trying to do is say that the object is a collection of parts. So what I can say about this part of the object here? So probably this part belongs to a car, and maybe it is the front right door, because I can see a bit of its mirror. So what we try to do in the Imperial Computer Vision and Learning Lab is to merge these two ideas that are totally different but have a lot of similarities sometimes. So we try to integrate the blame matching into part-based frameworks. We combine two state-of-the-art techniques for detection and 3D pose estimation and from recognition. And there are too many. So it's too many technicalities. So this is the results. So we are giving initially this kind of image, RGB and the depth images. We can infer the pose, the accurate pose of the object. And we can also say, have a segmentation mask and say with the black pixel are all the objects that are that do not belong, all the pixels that do not belong to the object, and with the white are all the pixels that belong to the object. So this is some results. This is the voting scheme. So we have parts voting for the specific center of the objects, and this is the segmentation mask, and this is the video. So with the green here is the overlaid mesh of the object. The white is the segmentation mask produced. Yeah, this is what we do. But my vision for the future robots, it's more advanced. I have to go to the supermarket, probably after 3 pints. Okay, 4. So I have to go there. I'm already a bit tired, and I would like to have someone to help me, but actually help me. Okay, so what if I had a robotic assistant? So when I enter the supermarket, I can find this kind of guy. But not just simply holding the basket. I want him to provide him a list, read the list, go to the specific corridors, and bring my stuff back in 10 minutes. It's not that difficult, but it is difficult, okay. So my grandfather would like to go to the supermarket, and he's old, and he cannot actually take the cereal boxes, because the cereal boxes you have only 2.5 millimeters to put your finger and take it out. So he can have a robotic assistant saying to him, hey, I would like 2 of these objects. So with some kind of gesture recognition, I can have the robotic assistant helping me and make my life easier for me. And then I'm coming back to my place. I'm still so tired. Maxime, avoid the stairs, and then and then I am leaving my bags with the groceries on top of the table, and suddenly my friend and another robotic assistant comes, look inside the bag, and tries to understand what is in there. And while I'm having a shower, this guy is understanding in a bag with full of groceries. He can understand what's going on. I have too many objects in this very limited view, and I try to recognize and grasp objects and put them in the right place, in the right drawer. And I'm having my shower, I'm so tired, and I do realize that tomorrow is Tuesday, and I haven't actually prepared what I'm going to wear tomorrow. And I can understand that the robotic assistant has finished doing the tidying of the objects, and I'm going to my sofa, and I'm laying down, and suddenly I turn my head in the right, I can see a huge pile of clothes, and I have to actually fold them. I need another robotic assistant, or the same, I have no problem, but I need something to help me fold and unfold my clothes. I have to do it. We have to. We have to take the robots away from the industry. Or they can stay in the industry. They can stay if they want to actually move doors. But they have an option now. Come to my place. Only a few clothes and a few easy things to do. And okay, it's difficult now to have this kind of two-hand big robot. Yeah, but what we can have easily is a robot that can navigate in your place with no stairs and can avoid obstacles, can be taught to move objects to the right directions, or it can help you do some stuff that are chores for you. So I would trade all of these robots for one simple one. Me staying in my sofa and bringing me a pint. Just that. Yeah. All the other things are normal, but we have to do it. We cannot. Maxime, can you teach a robot bring a pint? But no drink. No drinking. Okay, no drinking. Okay. So this is the way that I see the things going. And hopefully this is a collection of videos that we are doing in our lab. And I'm ready for some questions if you have. Yeah.
At the moment, how do you teach a robot that this is a glass, this is also a glass, and a round bowl shape like this also?
Okay, so this is an object. This is the other part of the object. So this is instance-based object recognition. So I am in the same category of objects, but there are two different instances. What we were talking about was about category recognition. So category recognition is easy. It's easy because you can easily have these prominent features per category. So supposing that we have cups or mugs, we can easily have these kind of handles. So if we recognize a handle, we can easily say that this is a mug. The problem is that how we can transfer knowledge from the category to the instance. So how we can teach a robot that when you recognize a category, when you recognize this object to belong to cups, how you can transfer the knowledge that you already have, that you have to grasp the object from the handle to this specific object, to this specific instance. This is how we should actually teach robots to generalize. So although the instance might be infinite and you cannot easily generalize to everything, if you take into account the knowledge that you have from the categories, you can tackle very challenging problems.
Yeah. There's a database of practically every object in the world that's been broken down into computer code. So why don't we talk to Hollywood?
I could use all the data set in the world, all the data sets. We are trying to build, this is what I'm concerned more right now. We're building more and more powerful systems. We build huge graphic cards with huge power resources, but we're still missing one thing, the pattern. The pattern. If I want to simply grasp this kind of objects, I can do it. I can teach my system. But this belongs to the past. We have to generalize. We have to take the most of our algorithms with few data available. It's very important. It's very important at this specific stage of our life, at this specific stage of evolution. We have to do it now. We have to do it now because I think we're going to miss a window. We're going to have so powerful systems that can easily go through all the data set available and can provide us some solutions. But this is not intelligence. This is labor.
In the brain, objects and faces utilize different processes to be recognized. Is the same true in robotics, or do robots view human faces solely as another object?
Yeah, usually what an object for a robot might be this card, this object, and me. So there is no hierarchy usually in the robot mind. But what we're trying to do right now as a researcher, not as a group, is we try to add the deep knowledge. We try to actually imitate the biology in our system, in our brain, in a human brain. So there is no clear answer to this question, but your question can be answered by, dividing into separate classes. So you can, if we speak for specific algorithms, yes, I can tell you that we're treating the objects and humans the same way that humans do. But if we want to go directly to robotic applications rather to computer vision and machine intelligence, we can say that for a robot working in an industry, an object and a human is the same thing. It's an obstacle. Yeah.
There's a question over there. No?
Yep.
Yeah, so computer vision is just vision. Are there any other senses that it's using in like say a noisy environment through a waterfall or something?
Okay.
It recognize objects through a windy forest, for example.
Okay, I'm going to be honest. The next time that you're going to say computer vision is just vision, you're going to have problems. Okay. It's very difficult. It's very difficult to have the adequate number of the adequate performance levels to say that I have now deal with vision. Let's add some more sensors. So we let other departments and other researchers doing the auditory thing and the moving thing and everything. So we're focusing on vision. Other guys are focusing more on robotics and kinematics. And this is why we're still so back behind. I think we're only about 2 or 3 years when we all can merge our ideas into one big system.
Yeah.
So the system that you have recognizes objects based on patterns or semantics, but like, what about, let's say, modifiable objects? Like, let's say this is a napkin, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is still the same napkin.
Exactly.
But is your system able to recognize that?
This kind of deformable things, no. But
Do you think it's possible?
yeah, it is possible. But what we can do is that, which is still a part of deformable object, our hands. We're talking about 48 degrees of freedom. So this object had 6 x, y, z rotation in y and rotation in z and rotation in x. But our hand has 48. We can still say that we have a good solution to this problem, but it works only for Danny's hand, the guy that created the algorithm. So what we can say about this problem is only the recognition. We can only say that, okay, there was a napkin that was first like that and second is like that. I cannot tell how the napkin was deformed.
Yeah.
I have to add some tabular knowledge. This is very advanced. Even you cannot tell that.
Oh, we can tell it's the same napkin.
Yeah, you can tell it's the same napkin, but you cannot tell which part of the napkin was where after the movement.
Last 2 questions. There was one over there from the start.
You spoke about like the future of robotics in everyday life. What kind of timescale do you think we're working on for that, and how likely do you think it is that technologies like you were showing at the end will actually be in everyday kind of affordable living?
The biggest question is, should we or have to comply with the safety issues? If not, tomorrow. If yes, I don't know, 5, 6 years.
Last question.
It seems that we are using, when we are creating image visualization based on human, because is it the only way for a machine to teach? Because only human can teach what is right or wrong. Is that not a limitation by itself? And are we trying to actually go beyond what a human can see as a judgment, and maybe try a different way for a machine to learn to recognize an object without the need of the human behind? And would that go actually faster, better than what we do?
Yeah, what I'm saying to myself is never try to have a robot, an algorithm, saying to you what you cannot see, what you cannot say to yourself. So I cannot ask a robot to count how many people are here just from one view, because I cannot do it. The human might be the ultimate vision machine, but what we're doing here is we have a pattern, we have something that we know that it works, our brain. So this is how we try to imitate how our algorithm should look like. So this is something that sometimes we need to think out of the box, and sometimes we need to just do what we have to do. We have a machine that we know that works, our mind. So it's not that easy to forget, or sometimes to go one step ahead. For example, our research, I'm here because I'm funded. I cannot do things that I have in my mind without some kind of potential. So I have to do research that it's not that kind of breakthrough, but incrementally can build a better system. So this is why we follow patterns that are offered from the human brain. Yeah.
Well, that's
Would you get a Windows HoloLens, and how good do you think it will be?
It can be great, but I won't.
No?
No.
Based on the image and stuff, is that?
Because I would like someone else to try first. It's not risky and dangerous, but I want to have the version 2, not the version 1. So somebody has to test it and say, debugging. So after 6 months, will have the best version in my hand.
Well, the talks are now over, but the evening is definitely not over. Please stick around, have a discussion with our academics, grab some more beer, discuss amongst yourselves. But please, let's put our hands together for two very excellent presentations.